Hello out there. Here's Jürgen again from Metal Crash Radio. I'm here today with Beatrix Young from the AC/DC cover band Back in Black out of Switzerland. Hi, good morning.
Hello, Jürgen. Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's 9 in the morning, pretty early.
Yeah, pretty early. But as I'm an old guys don't need that much sleep. They always say. I still wait for their point, but but I still can deal with 10 hours of sleeping. Anyways, you had your 10 years anniversary of the band.
Yes.
Lately.
Crazy.
So, how did it start with a band? I mean, you are the founder. What was the motivation behind it? Was it just being in love with AC/DC music, or what was the reason?
The reason was that when we started, our singer back then, Janie, she moved from Germany back to America, and she wanted to do one last big show to kind of do the great goodbye farewell show before she moved to America. And so she actually recruited from DC tribute out there, the best of the best, the bassist from this band, the lead guitarist from that band, and then she also called me for the rhythm guitar. And the funny thing was that we didn't know each other. We didn't meet beforehand. We just met at the show, and nobody of us knew that there was going to be 6,000 people at the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it worked really well with these people because everybody knew exactly what they were doing. Everybody knew exactly what they're supposed to do. And after that, I said to Janie then that it would be nice to play some more shows. And she said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And so I took over the band basically from her after the first show. That's how we started.
6,000 people for the first show, that's not too bad.
Yeah, was a surprise.
Especially if you don't know it. That there's a bunch of people in front of the stage and you maybe expect, I don't know, 500 or something. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a night to remember.
So the band name Back in Black was then already there?
Yes, that was already there. That was Jamie's favorite song to sing. So she just named it after her favorite AC/DC song. And the two colons between the back and the black, between the back and the N.
Yeah.
She stole this from the Vulcan Open Air logo.
Oh.
I mean, she borrowed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not stolen, borrowed.
No.
Borrowed. Yeah, I mean, it's an eye catcher, to be honest. And it's something that's known. So it's a smart idea.
Yeah.
To do it that way.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm quite happy with it. It's a bit unique. And because there are many AC/DC tribute bands in the world, and I guess nobody uses the colons. So that kind of keeps us a bit away from the masses, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So are you the only all-female AC/DC cover band?
No, there are many just like male AC/DC tribute bands, and we get along fine with them. We don't know all of them, of course, but yeah, there are a few, yes.
So over the last 10 years, you had the lineup was changing.
Yeah.
Is there a special reason for it, or is it just a matter of fact that former bandmates had took another direction or something like that?
Yeah, it's like people, they all have their own lives. They all have their different lives. Sometimes the band was too much for some people. Sometimes they wanted to do something else. Sometimes they couldn't play anymore because of whatever constraints they had with their time or with whatever. Every person had a different reason to come and go. And I found out that for a band, it's quite normal to have a few lineup changes. For example, also AC/DC, they also had a lot of people in the band. Not only Brian Johnson and Bon Scott and Stevie Young, but they had very many different drummers, different bassists, what we sometimes tend to forget. I think it's unusual if a band does not change their lineup from time to time. Like, for example, Aerosmith, I think. They haven't changed their lineup, or maybe not frequently.
Yeah.
But it's quite unusual. It's just like in any other project, sometimes it fits right, and then it's cool for the time being, and then maybe it doesn't fit anymore, or it just, yeah, people want to do something else, and then they do something else.
And when they run out of money, they get back to the first formation, to the first lineup, like a lot of bands did.
Yes, that's also a possibility. So far, we don't need to.
So when a new band mate, and so guitar player leaves, for example, do you do some casting or anything? Do you or does people knock on your door for getting into the band?
Well, so far, we have recruited the people that we thought had a lot of potential. It's important for us to find somebody who's genuine, who knows who they are, and who are into what Back in Black does. So most of the time, the people we have found are friends of friends of friends. So, and then we talk to them initially on maybe a video call and tell them what this is about and ask them if this is something that they're interested in. And it's not necessary to know the whole catalog of AC/DC.
Yeah.
But, and it's even not necessary to know even one song by AC/DC. You just have to identify with the music, you have to be yourself, and you have to enjoy what you're doing, because you can learn a song as a musician, you can learn the music, that's not a problem. Of course, if you say, oh, AC/DC sucks, you have no place in this band. Yeah. Obviously. But the training to us is important because we all over Europe, basically. I mean, right now the lineup is most people in Switzerland, but there was a time where nobody was in the same country. So we need people who can work the songs out by themselves, who don't need to rehearse regularly with a band, who are very independent, who can deal with just learning the songs and playing them well on stage with other people.
So it's so the main criteria is their skills.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said the basic criteria is then their skills.
Yes, that's the basic criteria, because the music is the most important, because what we do is we want to pay tribute to AC/DC, who's giving us their music to play that they wrote, and we just can go to the buffet of AC/DC songs and just pick the ones we want to play in front of an audience. And so I think the musical skill is very important, also to just pay respect to the band who wrote the songs.
And I think it has to work in terms of fitting to the team.
Yes, obviously, but I think this you can find out fairly quickly if it's a good match or not, because I mean, I know the people in the band very well. We've become very good friends over the years, and so I can usually tell if it's a good match with the other people or not.
Yeah, because I think, I mean, especially with that constitution that you're not in the same area.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it works. So you then meet at the gigs?
Usually, yes. Before we start a season, normally, not in Corona time, but before we start a concert season at the beginning of the year, we usually get together to rehearse for a weekend. And then we just meet at the gigs, yes.
So you have different set lists?
We have different set
renewed.
lists, but of course, you always have to play some songs at an AC/DC music type show that you just can't not play. So there are some songs that are on every set list.
So you have some songs that are on every set list. So the classic ones.
Yeah. Can you imagine going to AC/DC or listening to AC/DC at a party without Highway to Hell? It just doesn't work because our audience
That's true.
is also very diverse. You know, you have AC/DC fans in our audience who know everything. They know the solo for What's Next to the Moon. They can sing it. But then you also have maybe their husbands or their children who don't know the whole catalog. And but they do know Highway to Hell, so you also have to keep these people entertained.
Yeah, this is a song so similar to Sweet Home Alabama from Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is the one song that everybody knows, and
yep.
It's the same with Highway to Hell.
Yeah,
everybody knows this song and can at least sing along with the chorus.
Yes, yeah, that's important to make people feel like they're also part of it, because a concert is not just a band on the stage. A concert situation where the band on the stage celebrates the music together with the people who watch the band.
Yeah, it's that's the point.
That we just perform and we just say, yeah, we're so cool, look at us. The point is to come out there, play the music that everybody likes, or play the music that we like just as much as the people in the audience, and then have a party together. We just happen to play the music.
Yeah, and it's and people go to concerts because of the classics, because they want to hear at least one special song, and they're waiting for it for 2 hours.
Yes.
And hoping it's at least the last number.
Yes. And if not, they hope at least it's the encore.
Yeah, right. So you've been 10 years with Back in Black now.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, you are the only permanent member.
Yeah.
So you saw a lot of people come and go.
Yes.
So you more or less you keep the band alive.
I try to. Yeah, I try to, because I think especially if you don't meet so often with the rest of the band, I think there needs to be at least one person who kind of keeps the train going. Because if you don't meet, if you can't just go for a beer or a coffee with your bandmates, sometimes somebody needs to constantly think about it and constantly talk to people and keep it going, because it doesn't happen magically. It's unfortunately the case.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So yeah, I try to, yeah.
So I have to look at my notes because I'm an old fart. I can't even remember 3 different things. How do you keep up your motivation to keep the things running, keep the wheel turning?
The rock. No, it's actually the motivation is when I listen to the music, it comes right back. I just snap into it, and yeah, it's the music. Basically.
Especially in
nothing else.
Especially in times like now.
Yeah.
I mean, you lost a lot of gigs, I think. I mean, it was
all of them.
Yeah, like most of the bands that we are supporting, they all have the same problem.
Yeah.
So, how does that work? I mean, I think I can imagine it's terrible if you cannot go on stage, because as a band you want to play on stage, you want to play live, and also it's at the end of the day a matter of money.
Yeah. Of course, we miss playing on stage terribly. It's horrible to not be able to, but we've always tried to stay positive, whatever comes, because that's the only way to keep alive, by being positive and taking the things that you get and making something out of what you can get. For example, We have done some live streaming. We have done a video with some fans. Thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, that was fun. That was big fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. So I think in times like these, we can be thankful that we have all the means, like the digital stuff, digital tools that we can use to keep in touch. And that means we just have to get creative with what we have. And I think for our 10-year anniversary, we were planning to make a big festival. Unfortunately, this didn't happen, obviously.
Yeah.
But then we thought about it, and actually 2020 was also the 40-year anniversary of the album Back in Black. So we thought that we will do an unplugged recording, and we started the pre-production of this Back in Black Unplugged. And as we were playing these songs on our acoustic guitars, we kind of thought, okay,
something's missing.
Something's missing. What's missing? The electricity is missing. So actually the project has changed a bit. It's still going to be the album Back in Black, but it's going to be quite different. And we have changed it. We're doing pre-production for the new project now, and it's going to be amazing.
So the acoustic version, the unplugged version, didn't really work. So or you didn't really have fun with it.
Yeah, I'm an electric guitar player. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable if you're. I mean, electricity helps to be loud, to be that power behind, and I mean, acoustic. It's nice. Some songs. If you have an unplugged song in the set list, that's fine. But yeah, a whole album.
Yeah, it's a rock band after all, you know. So, but you know what we didn't want to do is to play Back in Black like in the AC/DC style. So you all people could be very excited for what's coming. It's gonna be something new.
I'll be very curious.
Yeah.
That will be fun, I think.
Yeah, so we are hoping to go to the studio as soon as possible, but since nobody's playing live, many bands are going to the studio and many bands are occupying the studio. So we need to see when we can get a spot.
Yeah, so you record in Switzerland then, or how does the recording work? So as you cannot get together at the moment. So every member plays his part, put it together.
Yep. Usually the drummer starts with the basic drum beat, and then we do bass and guitars and the vocals in the end. And it's doable as long as the drummer is keeping time. You can send the files around to different studios. You can use them in different studios. It's like I said, the digital tools that we have are quite amazing.
So this is also what you use then to stay in touch with the rest of the band?
Yes.
Do you meet frequently, do some, I don't know, sessions or whatever? How do you keep up also the motivation for the others?
Unfortunately, it's difficult. It's difficult to play through the internet together because there is always a little bit of time lag, and it's just impossible to accurately play together. That's something that I think these developers, that's something they could focus on if they're bored. But we do have some chat groups where we keep talking to each other regularly. Sometimes we do video calls. And of course, we send our files around because we are doing the pre-production for this Back in Black project. If somebody has any ideas, we send them around to the rest of the band so they can listen to it and they can react to it. So yeah, we do keep in touch. And by the way, when we do record this Back in Black project, we will be together. So we will actually try to play some of it live, which means everybody together. But in the studio, it's not difficult to be socially distant because there are different rooms where you can hang out. by
Yeah,
yourself.
I think the biggest obstacle is traveling.
Yeah, yeah. For now, we have most of the band in Switzerland except for Helena. So yeah,
Yeah,
well,
she's in Italy, right?
yes, correct.
Well, they also struggle with, yeah, we all
Yeah,
struggle with this mess.
yeah. In Switzerland, actually, it's right now not so bad. We don't have a lockdown in place, but we have many, 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 many cases.
Um, s- in Germany, we have, yeah, we have the lockdown now for the whole of November.
No, yeah,
I mean, because of what my question in terms of how you stay in touch is, I mean, I'm working since 9 months from the home office,
uh-huh.
so and it sucks,
Uh,
honestly saying, because you lose the social contact. That's just normal. So we try to keep up, talking, stay in touch via Skype or whatever.
mhm.
Have some calls in between, but it's missing. It's missing
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it,
definitely.
it's different to work from at home, to stay at home. And I mean, when you're at the office, you just stand up and go for a cigarette. And you know, when things are, yeah, not going the way you want them to go out, have a cigarette, have a talk for 10 minutes, and it's better after that 10 minutes. If
Yeah,
you're alone at home, it's, yeah, you struggle with your own.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not easy,
yeah.
but we all have to go different ways, I think.
Yeah, I guess, but I think it's lucky that we can still work from home. I mean, maybe a few years ago this wouldn't have been possible, and then we would have a lockdown without work. So
Yeah, a lot of people would go crazy.
yeah,
I'm
I
in the
agree.
and I'm in the front row. So, getting back to Highway to Health, that
Yeah,
was a that was a great show. That was a great thing this weekend. Is what it was, the Easter weekend.
yep,
Um, who had the idea to do it this way? Because I think it worked. It worked very well. I mean, it was really, I really
to be
enjoyed it.
honest, I don't remember who had the idea. I think it may have been something that we just came up with on one of our video calls.
I mean, it was, you've been there. It started at lunchtime up to 10 o'clock in
Yeah,
the evening, 2 days in a row. It's not easy as well. I think if you permanently play the same song,
yeah.
I remember that I always I tuned in, not the same the whole time, but again and again, always. And I thought, wow, if I would sit there and play Highway to Hell acoustic for 2 days in a row, wow. I
Yeah, we
mean,
couldn't stop anymore after it.
it's a great song, but
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes, it's a dead runner.
it is. But I can tell you that even though I was sitting at home, um, after these 2 days, I felt like I had just played a gig weekend because it was super exhausting actually, and I didn't
I
expect
think
that
so.
because I was just sitting at home. But in the end, I think all the excitement and the live stream, because we hadn't done this before, and is it going to work, and is everybody going to
Yeah,
be there, and um, yeah, it was exhausting, but it was so much fun.
it was. It
Yeah,
was. Also, the interaction with the fans. You had a live chat and stuff, and
yeah, super
I
fun.
really enjoyed it. I really
Cool.
enjoyed it. And I think it was at the first day at lunchtime. I was sitting in front of my computer and started. And I mean, one of the requirements was to post it on your account. I did, but I mean, you sit here with the headset and you hear the
Yeah,
music and you sing along, but once you post it, it's just your voice, and my voice is
yeah, but
awful.
it's very courageous for of the people who've done that like that. I think everybody can be very proud of themselves.
Well, I enjoyed it. I mean, I made a complete fool out of me, and
No, no.
friends were texting me. Oh,
Are you okay?
Corona hit you heavily. So are you still struggling with your with your brain and stuff? And after the fifth or sixth comment I got, I made a clarification. I said, well, I don't intend to do a Bon Scott tribute band. I don't intend to start a singer career. Forget about it. It's just for fun.
Yeah,
and it
well,
was
that's
fun.
what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I really
Yeah,
really enjoyed
sometimes,
it.
sometimes one has to try something new in order to have fun. Because, I mean, in the end, you never know what's going to happen. So might as well have some fun.
Right. And with everything you do in your life, should
Yeah,
be
exactly.
a little portion of fun at least. I mean, the more fun you have, the better the result is.
Yep.
And yeah, I really enjoyed that weekend.
Cool.
I mean, we were on a lockdown, so nothing else to do as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what was the highlight in the band history? When you review the last 10 years, what was the highlight for you?
10 years, one highlight, impossible.
Oh, well, if it's only highlights, it's best.
No, of course, like everything in life, there is nothing that has only highlights, but I would say that Back in Black has been very lucky to have a lot of highlights, many more highlights than lowlights. For example, when we could play after ZZ Top, that was very early on, that was in 2012 already. That was quite a big highlight because that was at a big festival, and we were the last band after ZZ Top.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, ZZ Top draws also a very big crowd, and so it was amazing to see that these people stuck around to see Back in Black play too, and we had an amazing party. And actually, what I remember is that I was standing on the stage and looking out over the crowd, and I couldn't see the end of the crowd.
Wow.
And that was to me like, because I never expected this, and we had a great time. We played all the AC/DC hits, and the people loved it. And I was looking into the audience, and there was actually a woman sitting on somebody's shoulders, like in one of these big concert videos,
Yeah.
and she took her top off. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but
Well, why
it
not?
was just, it felt like one of these giant concerts, and maybe it was, I don't know, because I was playing, but it just felt amazing, and it was totally unexpected. And another highlight was 1 year later, where we played also in Switzerland at the Montreux Jazz Festival, the same edition that Prince played and Brian May.
Oh, cool.
And we got to use Prince's gear. So I played on the same amplifier as Prince the night before. And to
Very
me,
cool.
that was like unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then, of course, also the Bonfest, where we got invited
Yeah.
to play a few times. That's always been so amazing because there are just really the biggest AC/DC fans are there. And they know everything, and they sing along to everything, and you can basically play what you want. They know it. And
Yeah.
yeah, of course, you've probably seen the video where we were on the truck recreating It's a Long Way to the Top in
Yeah.
Kieran Bon Scott's hometown. That was also very, I mean, there were so many highlights that these are just 3 or 4 that I just remember from the top of my head, but we have had some amazing times. Totally lucky band.
And I think that's what you are as a musician live for. I mean,
Yeah.
I just can't imagine standing on the stage and seeing, like you mentioned, looking at the crowd and you cannot even see the end.
Yes.
That must be awesome.
Yeah, I can't really even describe this feeling. It's just complete awe.
Kind of like being somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So at the Bonfest, you mentioned that all the die-hard fans are there and they know each chord, they know everything. So
Yeah.
I think it's a bit pressure for you as a band as well.
Yes,
because they know every wrong tune.
Yeah. But I think you never really know who's in the audience. So I think you better make sure as a band that you don't treat the Bonfest audience in a special way, but you play the songs as good as you can and as good as the songs deserve to be played every show. Because who knows? I mean, with a different band, it's just a small It was a different band. We once played at a ski resort in a bar. And we thought there's going to be only drunken tourists, so whatever. And, and we did play Queen's We Will Rock You.
Okay.
And we totally botched it. I don't know how we managed to do that because it's a fairly straightforward song to play, but for some reason we couldn't. I don't know what happened, but I think the drummer was the problem. Anyway,
It's always the drummer.
Always. No. The night after we played, when we were finished, somebody came to us and said, do you know who actually was in the club tonight? And we said, no, who was there? And he said, well, Roger Taylor.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
No, it was not cool. I wanted to die because he was there. He was the drummer from Queen, and he saw us play his song in such a shit way.
Well, but he didn't throw anything on the stage, so.
No, no, we didn't know he was there. Lucky, until it was over.
Yeah, maybe it would have.
But yeah, like I said, you never know who's going to be there. And actually, I think all the people who come and listen to a band, they deserve to get the best from the band at any time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm with you. And no matter what the ticket price is, it is you bought a ticket and you deserve a sufficient show and a professional show.
Even if you didn't pay for the ticket.
Yeah, I mean you have some expectations. I mean you want to have fun, you want to have a great time, and yeah.
And I think also it's the band's responsibility to make people happy. I don't think that you can, as the band, go on stage and expect the people to freak out just by looking at you. I think you need to work hard so that the people feel like they can enjoy the show. It doesn't come automatically. Some places it does, because some places people are more extroverted. Like for example, in the UK, the audience is much more outgoing and a little bit more crazy, whereas in Switzerland, they are maybe a little bit more distant at the beginning. Yeah. But I think it's always the band's responsibility to make sure that these people are having a good time. It's not for the people to make sure that the band is having a good time.
Yeah, you have to connect with the audience. That's the most important thing. You have to find the point to get them sing along with you and just have fun. Yeah, yeah. And if it takes a little bit longer, then it takes a little bit longer. And I think some people tend to get frustrated because sometimes it's really hard to play in front of an audience and you don't know, because they're not moving, you don't know whether they are even enjoying the show. And but I think it's the band's responsibility to then be able to take these people and make them happy. I think that's the worst case if no one's moving and you cannot read the body language. Are they comfortable with it or not? Do they like it or not? I think that's strange.
But you know, when you then you keep trying different things. It's like a quest that you are on as a band, and you are like there, and you have to find a way how to grab these people and how to or get their attention or give them what they're looking for so they can have a good time. I think, and yeah, it can be frustrating, but I think it's more important to see this as the band's responsibility and the band's task for the night, to make people enjoy the show.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how popular or how established the band is, because this is what bothers me, to be honest. I mean, the good thing about being an old fart is that I saw most of the bands when they were still good and the ticket prices were at a proper price.
Yeah.
Because I'm not willing to pay $150 for a ticket for the Rolling Stones to see that Keith Richards, every third grip is wrong, starting with the wrong tune. I mean, it's just about making money, and that's what bothers me. I mean, I saw him. Don't get me wrong. I like the Stones. I like their songs. I saw them a couple of times. I think about 5, 6, 7 times. First time in the beginning of the 80s, in the
Wow.
Olympic Stadium in Munich with 75,000 people. That was awesome. But in the meantime, yeah, I think it was the Stones had one gig, one of the 3 or 4 gigs that I left earlier because I was
Oh, wow.
so, yeah,
Okay.
I was so mad. The sound was shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, the set list was okay, but it didn't work. It didn't
Hmm.
work. And I'm not one of the persons that can smile at Keith Richards like the most do. Most of the people do because, okay, this is Keith Richards.
Hmm.
We are happy that he's still alive, blah, blah, blah. Forget about it. I mean, some bands, I think they missed the point.
Well, we've been doing this for only 10 years, so I don't know what it's like to do this for 50 years. I've no idea. I don't know. maybe
Yeah,
maybe this can change, maybe not. I think I agree with you. It shouldn't. But then again, I don't know what it is like to do it for such a long time. And yeah, I mean, the work morale is important.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And you should get off stage once you start forgetting chords and stuff like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
If I think about Lemmy, rest in peace, my friend. I saw him the last time, I think 1 year, 1.5 years before he passed away.
Hmm.
And I mean, he couldn't, at that time, he couldn't move in the right manner on stage. But his voice and what he was playing was still the same like
Yeah.
30 years ago, 35 years ago. And he always stated, I will die on stage. And he did it more or less. So big respect. Um, and he made his thing. He didn't give a shit about
Mhm.
what others think if they like his music or not. They just wanted to play what they want to play. That's it, and that's the right attitude for me. I mean,
I agree.
I'm yeah, I'm bothered by 10 years lasting farewell tours, announcing a
Yeah.
farewell tour, and then it's like an endless loop. I mean,
Maybe it was so much fun. They just want to do it again.
yeah, but I mean, on the other hand, as long as they sell out the venues, as long as they can make money with it, why should they stop?
I agree. Yeah.
And it's your choice to get there. It is what it is. And again, I mean, I'm happy that I saw him at a proper price. I remember my first concert was the Scorpions in 1979 at a price of would equal to €5.
Wow.
And 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I saw AC/DC on the Highway to Hell tour with Bon Scott,
Wow.
and I'm really grateful for that moment.
Yeah.
Uh, that I
Amazing.
was able to see him live on stage.
Yeah,
He was a unique person, definitely a unique person.
I'm sure.
That leads me to my next question. Have you a preferred era of AC/DC, a preferred lineup they had?
Hmm. It's difficult to say because I think they've always done well, whatever they did. um, a preferred era. Um, actually, it's difficult to answer this question because the short answer is no. I like them all. But of course, there were some. If you go by lineup, I would say, knowing what I know from managing Back in Black, I would like to not answer this question because I think they've always done what they could to keep the band alive. And now I know what it's like. And you can say, yeah, I don't like this drummer, or I don't like that bassist, or I don't like this singer. Yeah, but the band is still playing, and they do what they can to keep playing. So they had their reasons for changing people in the band,
Right.
probably just like everyone. But then if you go by singer era, you can, I mean, the obvious two eras. I don't have a preference. I like them both very much. I mean, they're very quite different singers, and Brian Johnson brought in a very new and unique sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, no, I can't say. I like them all.
Well, that's no
Yeah,
problem.
it's AC/DC. the one thing about that I love about AC/DC is how constant they are. You can always tell it's an AC/DC song, even if you know it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's quite the unique thing about this band.
Yeah, and to me as a fan, I don't see that every song sounds the same.
No.
Like some people state that, well, it's always the same thing. No, it isn't.
No, these people need to listen a bit better.
Yeah, open up your ears and listen a bit better. What I found a bit strange was when Axl Rose was with them. When Brian had that problem, I think with his ears or something.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him live at that point of time. I saw him on that tour before Brian had this problem. I don't know if it was a good idea. I mean, some friends of mine saw him with Axl, but it's different. I think it's
we saw it too. We were actually invited to see the show from in the stadium from the mixing desk, so in the middle of the stadium, but with our own toilet and our own fridge. That was quite amazing. We saw them there with Axl, and of course it was fun because it was our band all together at the AC/DC concert. But yeah, it was strange to hear Axl sing these songs, and
it didn't work.
No,
it didn't match somehow. It was strange.
It was very strange. I think I can understand what they were trying to do by inviting Axl, because probably they wanted somebody who has experience in playing big stadiums, probably. But I think it's been a great chance to invite somebody new and fresh and give them a chance.
Yeah, there are a bunch of singers out there.
It could have been amazing, but I guess they decided to do what they did, and it was a good experiment.
I remember when Brian came in and they did the Back in Black tour.
Mm-hmm.
It was the time in the 80s when the Monsters of Rock series was going on, the open airs. And I was in Nuremberg. I remember AC/DC was headlining. It was a brilliant setup with Van Halen in the original lineup, Gary Moore, Motley Crue. Except that was amazing, and at a price of 25 euros, one day, 6 bands. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think his big advantage was that he didn't try to sound like Bon Scott, because I saw a lot of cover bands where the singer desperately tries to sound like Bon Scott, which is impossible. He had a unique voice. He was a completely unique person. And if you see guys standing in front of stage looking like their throat is exploding, pressing out of the chest and dying with each song, it doesn't work. If you do it your way, and if the singer sings along his voice, that's fine. That's fine, because again, we have in my area where I'm living, there's an AC/DC cover band, and the singer does it that way. He dresses like Bon did, with the jeans and with the vest and stuff, and he's posing, the moving, all the things. And I mean, it's a bad copy. I would say it's a bad copy, and you don't. I think as a band, you don't. It's not smart to do it like this.
Well, that's what we've always tried to avoid, because I think nobody can be AC/DC, nobody can replace AC/DC. AC/DC is AC/DC, and any other band is another band. So with Back in Black, to me, it is important that the people in the band, they can be themselves. It would not fit to us to dress up like AC/DC. It's strange. We're not the same age, we're not the same gender, and we just can't. So what we can do is bring our passion for the music to the stage, being ourselves, and that's actually what's so inspiring to me to play AC/DC's music, because that's what they did all the time. Also, they just always have done what they wanted to do, and they were always true to themselves. And I think that's an important lesson to learn from this band.
Yeah, and also as a cover band. you have to stay who you are.
Yeah.
Not try to pretend or try to copy somebody.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. I think it's the most fun as well.
Yeah, of course. It's exhausting probably to try to pretend to be someone else that you're not. I mean, I don't know. I can imagine.
Yeah, and have your own style of performing their music. I mean, you're a tribute band. You do a tribute to this band, to this whole stuff that they were writing, to this big bunch of songs, of great songs that they had. I mean, in that point, you're lucky you can grab no matter what.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, and you can also, like we talked in the beginning, have different set lists, have different programs, have different shows, and yeah, I think that's a good situation as a band.
I think so.
Have you met them?
Yes.
AC/DC?
Yeah.
Do they know about Back in Black? Do they know that you are existing?
Yeah, they do. I have met Angus Young in front of his hotel, but I was so nervous I couldn't say anything. That's when AC/DC played in Zurich, and I couldn't get a ticket. It's a long time ago, so I was going to the stadium anyway to see whether there was somebody selling tickets. Of course, there were people selling tickets, but for too much money, I couldn't afford it. And
yeah.
So I was just standing outside the stadium and listening to them play inside. And one of the security guys, I guess he felt sorry for me and he told me where the hotel was. And so I went down there to the hotel, and actually after the show, Angus and Malcolm came to the hotel, and there were a few fans, not so many, maybe 10 people waiting for them. And so we took some pictures, and he signed my Powerage record. It was amazing. All I could say is, "Oh, thank you for the music," like some idiot. He's such a small man, but I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I almost melted on the spot. That's one of the more embarrassing moments of my life. But Phil Rudd knows about us. He thinks that Angie is a great drummer. We're friends with his daughters.
Cool.
And she made him listen to Back in Black, and he liked it. And also Brian Johnson knows about us because when we were at the show, we were invited to come to the sound tent again for a show where the last show that Brian sang, the last tour that Brian sang before Axel came in. We were also at that show, and there was this very energetic and very beautiful woman, and she went to Helena and she said, so you girls are the tribute band. And she said, oh yes. And she said to Helena, so do you like this singer on the stage? And she's like, oh yeah, that's Brian Johnson, of course I like him. And she's like, oh yeah, that's my husband. So yeah, she was the most gracious and very friendly person. It was just amazing. And Helena, she was crying. She couldn't keep the tears from flowing. She was so touched. Yeah. So yeah, they do know about us.
I think they are way more normal than you would expect.
I think so too.
Because having such a big success, selling millions of records and stuff, you would think that they are more like a lot of other artists are, distant and, well, okay, you are the tribute band, fine, things like that. But I know a guy from my area as well. He got to know Angus or AC/DC by accident. He was clothed like Angus with the school uniform and stuff, and it was I think it was the Ball Breaker tour. And he, at each tour, he bought every ticket for the whole German tour. some tickets outside of Germany in Europe, and always stood in front row. And they played a show in Dortmund, and one roadie came up to him and said, well, could you please stay here when the gig is over, because Angus wants to get to know you.
Oh, so sweet.
Angus saw him, obviously,
Yeah.
at the shows before, and he said, well, get in touch with that guy. I want to talk to him.
Oh, cool.
And it worked that way. So the guy thought, well, okay, you can tell me stories, man. You are the stagehand, you know what. But he stayed there, and Angus came up to him, invited him backstage. And from this point on, a big friendship grew. He's invited for every tour.
Nice.
Has a backstage pass for every tour. He was at Angus' farm in Australia. He was invited for like a family fest or something like that. And it's amazing since
but
the ball
they're
breaker tour,
just people. They're just people like you and me. They're just trying to have a good time.
And that guy, he told me they are just nice people. Just normal. We sat together, and when they introduced the follow-up album, what was after Ball Breaker? Was it Stiff Upper Lip?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And they had a presentation in Germany at the Harder Cafe in Hamburg, and this guy was invited. So they were sitting on the couch. The guy from Regensburg, Angus in the middle. So he was sitting on the couch where the fans came to get their autograph on the album.
He signed it.
The thing is, he's nearly a lookalike of Angus, just taller, way.
No.
And he was once in a drive-in in the USA, and people came up to him and asked for his autograph. They thought he's Angus, but he signed with his real name.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you never know.
You can't sign with somebody else's name. Hello.
It would have got in big trouble, I think. But they didn't give a shit. They all went up to him and said, well, hey, Angus, blah, blah. And it's awesome. It's a cool story, and shows as well that they are just great guys. And he was lucky. Even if he didn't believe, he thought the roadie was making fun out of him.
Yeah, that's a cool story.
So, yes, an important question to me, an interesting question to me. As an all-female band, is this one thing? I mean, don't get me wrong, you're 5 young, hot ladies. So does it help? Or does it, in direction of getting acceptance as a band, as artists, as musicians, does it help, or is it more an obstacle?
It's both. It does help because it's somewhat less common to be an all-female band. Still, unfortunately, we're fighting against it, but so it does help in a way because it's already something unusual.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, because it is something so unusual and there is still a lot of sexism around, we as an all-female band have to always prove twice as much that we can play this music well. And so I guess it's both. Sometimes it's more of an advantage, and sometimes it's I don't want to say disadvantage, because unfortunately, because it is that way, because it is that way, it makes us work harder. We have to work harder, and we also do all this in high heels. And I think the problem is sometimes I perceive that everybody can have a bad night. It's normal. It's human. Yeah. Sometimes you have a shitty day and stuff doesn't work, and you're frustrated. And most of the time when it happens to a female band, people will say, oh, it's because it's a female band.
Yeah.
But when it happens to a male band, nobody says, oh, it's because it's a male band that they had a shitty night. Right. So, that's why I said we have to always prove that we actually can play.
Yeah, so
And yeah, but yeah, on the other hand, I guess we have had some opportunities that maybe an all-male band didn't have, just because we are different.
yeah, some
So,
doors
yeah,
open.
both.
That's what Angus did with his outfit.
What was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what Angus always did with his outfit.
Oh yeah. Somebody says that standing out is what we do, because that's also what Angus does with his schoolboy outfit. He stands out. You have to have something that makes you makes people look at you and go, huh, okay, I want to investigate this because this is interesting and different.
Yeah, I mean, I think the music business is still male dominated in terms of management and stuff, like it's in different industries and branches. It is what it is, but you have to deal with it somehow.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. I think it's not a bad thing when you mention that. You say you have to work harder. You have to prove harder that you can do it. I think in view of the result, I think it's not too bad.
No,
I mean, it challenges you.
It's you can say, yeah, it's unfair and it's so mean, but in the end, if we have to work harder, the only person who benefits is me, because I become a better musician, and also the people who listen to us. So
yeah,
so it's a win-win.
Yeah, no, it's true. So how do you want to be seen as a band? Only as a cover band, or as artists, as musicians? What is how do you want to be realized?
Mm-hmm. It's a difficult question because and it's a good question. I cannot take responsibility of what a person thinks. That's only their responsibility. But what I would like to communicate as a band for Back in Black is that we are just 5 women, 5 girls who just enjoy what they're doing and are doing it well. Because that's what everybody should do. And I think, yeah, I don't need to be famous or anything. That's not my motivation. My motivation is truly to have a good time with my friends, to travel, and to play the best music in the world. That's basically what I'm about. And what people think about it, I can't steer this. I have no idea. If they like it, cool, and if they don't like it, there's plenty of other bands to follow.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely. I mean, it's always your decision.
Yeah.
I haven't had the pleasure to see you live yet.
Yes.
I hope it will work somehow when we get over this whole Corona thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which unfortunately no one knows.
Nobody knows. But try to keep positive, because yeah, it's better if you think positively, because if you have bad thoughts in your head all the time, it's just like it for no reason.
And it doesn't help.
Say, yeah, we're gonna play again soon. I don't know when, but soon.
And it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't improve anything of your situation. Make the best out of it, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, more or less at the end with my questions.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I enjoyed it. It was a real nice conversation.
Yeah.
Do you have any message for the fans? Anything to say to the fans? I know you have a huge fan base.
Yes, so, I would like to take this opportunity to say hello to all of these people who follow us and who interact with us. We really very much appreciate it. It's very nice to get to talk to people who love AC/DC as much as we do. And it's also, I'm very touched and very honored that we have so many people who are interested in what we're doing, because it's amazing. Thank you all. Yeah, and like we just said with this Corona, please try to stay positive, because it's just very important to have a good time for yourself. try to see at least a little positive thing every day, and it will be much easier on you.
Okay, then.
That's my tip. My lockdown tip.
And that's not too bad. Again, I mean,
And listen to some loud music. That also helps.
Crank it up.
And
yes.
Wear a mask.
Yeah. Protect others, not just yourself, but others.
Yeah.
We can partner with this.
Oh yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. Stay healthy and get a mask on our website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring some money in, and it's a great mask. It's comfortable to wear. I tried it out, so yeah, pretty cool. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.
Enjoyed, and I really hope that you make it to Germany then, when it's possible again, and we maybe can do another interview face to face.
Yeah.
Across the table.
For that. Okay. Have a great day.
You as well.
Thank
you so much.
Bye bye.
Stay healthy.
Yup. You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.